Alright, I was thinking about doing a permanent attachment to this, but I've decided to do T-nuts underneath, 3 3/8 on center, and then I'll countersink, drill and countersink for these, be able to drill these. And I'm going to go check on my drill press to make sure I can get in here and drill 1/4 inch holes through, and then countersink them as well. So let me check that out. Alright, I cannot drill this on the drill press. My drill chuck comes in contact with the handle before it can reach the point where it needs to make contact down here. Now I could get away with it by lowering my table and putting in these long drill bits, but I don't want to do that because I've got that thing set up the way I do. So I've decided to horizontally bore it and make this jig to hold my drill bits parallel and square to my handle. Now I'm gonna go over to the drill press and use my fence to gauge this over 3 3/8 of an inch. But what I've done here is I drew a center line or a center point that I wanted to drill through, obviously the center of this, and it's much easier to do it from the back side than I did have the point originally on the front side. It's much easier to just lay this on its back, and I'm going to have to make sure I keep this in the proper orientation. But I found that it goes this way. I'm going to put a little X on this while I'm thinking about it here. So this way down. Like that. So what I did was created a trough for this 7/16 bit I have. Then I came along and found that line. Eventually I found the line, and when I was happy with that location, I used this as basically a marking, like an awl, and I made a point there. I then came back and went to my table saw and cut this trough a little bit high, and then I came and lowered it until I was able to find that point by sliding it along. Make sure I'm down here, there. Sliding it along until it fell into that dimple right there. So now I know these two points, these two drill bits will be lined up this way. I just got to get them lined up in this direction. So let me show you so I just use my router plane to lower both troughs to get to that center line that I was happy with. I didn't have to remove a lot of material. I got very close with the table saw. You know, that's really not that much to take out of them two troughs. But now I've got this, and then the other thing I've got here is this is my reference edge. Actually, these drill bits should be in the other way. They should be this way, because this edge is perpendicular to these here. I don't know if this is, they're probably perpendicular to both edges, but I just made a reference mark. So this is my reference edge, and that's how I'll treat these, or that's how I'll line this up on my table saw, or my drill press table, sorry. So let me go get this all set up, and then maybe it'll make more sense when you see it in action here. All right, here's the setup I'm going to use to drill this. I've got this set up so that I'm just clearing the top of this handle, and I've got a stop collar on here to prevent me from going too far. But the problem is the stop collar is rubbing on the table right there, so I've got to back everything up here, I don't know, 1/2 inch. So this is hanging over, and then bring my fence this way. So let me readjust and I'll be right back. Okay, I've got everything ready to go. I've got my fence parallel to my jig here. And the one thing I did do was I found some scrap to fit in these two openings to put pressure on the bit to keep it lined up. So I'm going to get as close as I can to my work. I got a stop collar on here, and then I'm just going to put hand pressure down on this to keep it running true. So I'm going to see how good I am with my depth of my collar here. A little nervous about this, but that's the way it goes. So here goes. Yeah, I just barely touched it, so I've got to adjust this collar back. I'm going to move it back about probably a 1/16. I hope you can see that pencil line I put on there. And then I just moved it back that amount, just eyeballing it. Let's see. All right, change bits. To my 1/4 inch. No, I don't want to change bits. Never mind. I want to index over. Three and 3/8. So I'm keeping that tight to my block there. Another piece in here. It looks pretty good. Well, my initial thought was to move this setup here, but that's not what I want to do. What you should do is, because these are parallel, is move your indexing stop over after you get things lined up. So first I want to index or get this lined up like that, and that's where it's going to stay. This has got to slide over, I think, a little bit too. 3 and 3/8. Right there. And I've got a piece of scrap back here, so that when I go through, I'm not going into my fence. I'll go into this piece of wood. And it looks like I'm good to go. And I don't have to worry about a stop collar here because I'm going all the way through. Get this adjusted. Alright, here goes nothing. I believe I'm all the way through. Yes, okay. Alright, here we go. It's gonna be nice. It worked out really well. I didn't think that I was gonna be that deep with the countersink, but that's gonna be perfect. Okay, we're looking at the top of my push stick jig for the fence to straddle the fence, and this I drew a kind of an outline, not kind of. I drew an outline of the handle and about where I want it to be. So what I need to do is locate the center line on the bottom side, because that's the way I'll be drilling, the direction I'll be drilling from. So I've taken this, my tri-square, located this center line. Then the next measurement I want to get is about where the center of that bolt would be. And then the other one will just index over from that. So there's my measurement that'll be coming from this way. So flip this over, clamp this down a little bit here. Draw my center line. Okay. Go back over. And get this measurement. I don't even care what that is. So making sure that I come from this side. It's about 2 3/8, I guess. There's my start point, right there. That one's a little snug. I can feel that it's probably just a fraction off, but it's going. So I'll trim these bolts 1/4 of an inch, and that's a good solid connection. Well, one last report before I go here. You can see where my outline is right there. So I was shifted a little bit back, and here's my side outline though. That's just shifted probably a 32nd of an inch this way. So I landed pretty close.